Sha-na-na-na.
Hello and welcome to issue
Oh, I didn't point
750.
at you yet, did I?
Oh, I thought that was the Shana Na was the cue, and it says this meeting is being live
I mean,
streamed
we
on
are
my.
live now.
Okay, now.
God damn it! Hello and welcome to issue 756 of Geek in the City Radio. I am Scott Daly.
And I am Arun Duran.
I'm your other host, Binarita.
And I am your other host, Cable Hashitani.
What's
Well,
shaking,
hi
y'all?
everybody.
Hi.
Oh my God, the
Hi.
famous Scott Daly, you guys.
Hi. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me crash your show, gang. This is fun.
Well, yeah. We're
We,
almost wrapping it up, so
yeah, we can't like close it out without saying goodbye to as many people as we can. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
which
So I
basically
got it.
means that basically means Greg, Sarah, and you.
Okay, that's fair.
It's-
I appreciate
I
to be
mean-
in that small group. I mean, you know, we would not be here if it weren't for that faithful day in your apartment almost 20 years ago, Aaron. We sat around one keyboard or one laptop and one mic.
Yeah. Recording on iMovie.
iMovie
Because-
and using an external hard drive.
Oh man, I saw that external hard drive. I still
with a
have it,
chunker too.
but it's so old. Like there's you can't retrieve anything on it at all.
what?
So if you look at the photo you put up next to this old ass Mac iBook or whatever, you'll see this thing. It looks like this blue ridged brick,
Uh-huh.
and that was the hard drive we used to put the shows on.
Yeah.
All, whoa, ready for this? All 300 megs worth, man.
Ooh.
They were chunky. I remember when we had to do our first commentary. We didn't do that on a hard drive, did we?
By the way, everyone, this is just what the show is going to be.
Oh.
That's
yeah,
all.
by the way, sorry. If you're an old school listener of Film Fever Radio and Geek in the City Radio, I think hopefully you'll enjoy this trip down memory lane.
That's right. Nothing has changed. Fuck, what was the very first one? The first commentary was
Strange Brew.
Oh Jesus!
That's
I think.
interesting. That feels true.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was Strange Brew. But I'm saying when we did the commentary, did we record on the hard drive, or have we advanced by that point?
I think it's still because you and we never live streamed.
No, we didn't live stream
No.
until we hit Greg Fun Point Radio Studios.
Yeah, that was for people with money or
Yeah.
or someone that had the.
That was for second wave podcasters.
That's right.
No,
Yeah. No, it's a third wave thing, man.
No, we counted on everyone to record and download if you could. Ooh, what's second wave and third wave?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Okay, hold on. I don't know that we actually have agreed upon definitions of which waves. So, like, what wave are we in now in terms of the podcasting zeitgeist?
The corporate exploited wave.
But in numbers.
Okay, so here we go. So technically, Film Fever Radio was first wave.
Right.
Kevin Smith likes to say Smodcast is the oldest. It's not.
We were before Smodcast. Sorry, Kevin.
By like 9 months.
Yep.
But 9 months, I feel like that's the still first wave. You can be older than Smodcast and still, Smodcast can be younger than your show, but you guys are still part of the first wave.
I see where Aaron's going with this. Yeah. Continue.
So I
get you.
I think second wave is. I feel like I don't know.
Would you say that Kevin Smith kicked off second wave with Smodcast?
No, I'd say Mark Maron did.
Yeah.
What year did he start?
Yeah, there you go. Probably
about 3 or 4 years after us, and yeah, he was the one
late aughts.
Because he actually, I think, was able to do live through like Real Player or some bullshit.
Really?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Like I never listened to Maron's show, but I knew who Mark Maron was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we don't talk about Rogan, but Rogan's kind of the same era as Maron.
Yeah.
We can acknowledge that
I didn't realize
he's part of that.
Back.
Like
absolutely.
Because he's a complete and utter douchebag.
To have
as a prick. But
he used to have interesting interviews on actually before he went full conspiracy MAGA. It's when he got really into his own like brain pills and shit.
If you believe in your own hype, it's inevitable that you will become the Ouroboros eating your own tail.
Yeah. Well, you know what I don't really get is like, where did he fucking come from in the first place? He used
Fear
to
Factor.
do right, but
Fear
like,
Factor.
but before that, that's
News
like
radio.
He did a show with Jimmy Kimmel on Comedy
he was
Central
on
called
news radio.
No,
The
that was
Man The Man
no,
Show.
that was
comedy.
That was Corolla. Was the
No, I
man?
know it was Corolla, but I think
Yeah.
Rogan was part of that show too. I think he did some bits with them, didn't he?
So
Bits. He was a stand-up comedian.
Let's not talk about
Yeah.
us. This is
And then
You know what? That's fair.
And then he
No,
got
that's great.
onto the show News Radio, which starred Dave Foley from
Okay.
Kids in the Hall,
Phil Hartman.
I
the
actually,
late Phil Hartman.
yes, I did actually know that somewhere in the recesses of my brain.
And he was a stand-up comic.
Yep. Steve. What's the their boss?
I always remember him as the dad in Veronica Mars.
No, that you're thinking of a different show. You're thinking of Just Shoot Me.
Oh,
Stephen Root.
Stephen
Stephen
Root.
Root. Yes. Yeah.
Was the
Who is in
Hilton.
every these days.
Who is phenomenal in everything.
decade.
Coen
Yep.
Brothers is phenomenal. Coen Brother films.
He's like the fucking dark horse of King of the Hill.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. I love
Stephen Root.
Yeah.
But
I love Stephen Root.
That's where Rogan came from. Candy Alexander was on that show
I
too.
really did not remember that.
Yeah, Rogan was the sports guy, and like so he had a bit on the show, but he was definitely B plot character. And then Fear Factor came along, and that kind of kicked him off into
a bigger platform.
Yep.
Yeah. Fear Factor definitely is what got him to blow up and doing shit like that. Yeah.
Well,
Once again, we have
mix.
We have reality TV to blame for the evils of the world.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think like who was the first one to really. I mean, I feel like once people started to live stream, it all kind of happened at once.
I think Adam. Speaking of douchebags, I think Adam Carolla kind of started around that same time as well. I remember when he stopped doing commercial radio and he kind of dove into the podcast.
Yeah, I remember listening to him even before Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
And I feel like that also, he says, sounding bitter, kind of signaled the end of like folks like us just kind of creating a show. Because all of a sudden now, like, there was no iHeartRadio but all of a sudden, like, you know, whatever, brought to you by Comcast. Like, all of a sudden, like, like Apple was sponsoring.
And then you're able to get celebrity, like real guests who come in who weren't just doing junkets. You know, we got great guests, Aaron. Back in the day, we got Jerry fucking Seinfeld, for Christ's sake, who was doing a junket. But that's okay because that's the stuff that we thrived off of, and that's what kept us going for as long as we did.
Those were fun. You mean the Mel Gibson of comedy, Jerry Seinfeld?
Mel Gibson of comedy, Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was such an awkward fucking press table.
Embarrassing.
So I'm sure
did someone call him that?
Okay.
So, Cable,
right.
this
was during B Movie, and they were doing a screening in Seattle. So first off, we got like a 30-minute set from Seinfeld before the movie even started.
Well, they didn't show us the film because it wasn't ready yet. So instead of not showing us the film, we got this 30-minute stand-up, and no, we didn't see it because it wasn't ready. So we kind of went in there blind. And he kind of that was part of it. Says like, listen, normally you see the film before you talk to the actors and the directors, people involved, but we got the film yet. It's not done. But he was doing like a 10-city junket, and Seattle was, I think, the last one actually.
It might have been. So first you have the meet and greet. So you're in this lobby, and you're told by like the handlers, they're like, you get one quick question as he's coming up and saying hi. You'll get more questions at the reporter roundtable.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Russell was with us because he was there for the Oregonian.
Yeah.
And Scott
Mike got one-on-one. Mike got one-on-one time with him.
Oh, I went to Oregonian. Yeah, he got one. But here's the thing: when Mike Russell reviewed his experience, all he did was write about Scott and I. So like, you get one question, and we're like, I don't know what to do. We didn't know what to do, and Scott's like, I got this.
Well, but we were also freaking out because we were the first ones in line. So when the door opened, the first people he saw were Aaron and I. These two goofballs from Portland who were nervous and didn't know what the hell we were doing or talking about.
So Scott just goes, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? And Seinfeld finger guns and everything. He goes, I don't know, the ones where they go pew pew.
No, and then he says, but you know what? We make a Star Wars reference in the B movie. He totally turns it
That's
around.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes it perfect.
But
And it's like, yeah.
Was
And
that
then we
the
made him
first
laugh.
famous person you guys ever interviewed?
He was
Either of you?
No, he was the biggest up till then.
I've interviewed Kevin Smith twice.
Fuck you.
Ah.
You know.
Yeah, it's true.
You're such good friends with him. Why don't you get him on the phone right now?
This show has had one white whale.
Speaking of Kevin Smith, the very first person I interviewed was when I did my cable access show, Film Fever, and I got to interview Joey Lauren Adams from Chasing Amy. She was in town showing the film at Fifth Avenue Cinemas up at PSU, and so I got to see the film. And then when it was over, I got like 20 minutes with her. Or no, I originally I was told I had 10 minutes with her. Right. So I was nervous. I had all my questions written out. You know, I'd never done this before. And as I started asking her these questions, I found out that she's a talker. She's not just answering what the questions that she thinks is going to get good press. And so we just started having a conversation. And 10 minutes in, I realized, I've only asked like one or two questions. And I said, well, I think our time is up. And then she tapped me on the knee. She goes, no, let's keep going. We're having a great time. And as soon as she said that, her publicist or handler just kind of backed off and left the room. And we chatted for like 30 minutes. And somewhere on VHS, I've got that interview and the unedited cut of that interview and the interview that actually aired on Film Fever.
Oh, shit, really?
So, yeah, so I'll have to digitize those. But so that made interviewing a lot easier for me, because I think if my first interview was somebody who was just an asshole or didn't answer straight away, like Steven Seagal, I think that it would be more difficult to do interviews. That's why I think, Aaron, when you and I would conduct interviews, like with Danny Trejo, we had a conversation with him, and that's a lot of people.
That was it. I feel like back in the day, we like annoyed publicists, but I feel like the guests always had a good time because we never. I mean, eventually would come back to the movie or the show, but we really just want to talk with them. So like going back to Seinfeld again, I forgot we didn't see the movie. We got clips.
Yeah.
And
little snippets. That's right.
Yeah. So we got like a 30-minute set of just Seinfeld stand up. Which was great. And then they put us in the junket room and they're like, all right, you all get one question in this round table. He's there. And almost and Scott and I were some of the last ones at that. I remember that. And people were all the question.
Yeah, it was a big oval circle, and he was literally sitting to my right. Yeah, and it was kind of, they started his left and worked their way around.
Yeah. So like a lot of people ask like, well, are you ever going to have like a Seinfeld reunion show? And he's like, why? You see us every night anyway. Why?
It's on right now.
But so to go way back to the Mel Gibson comment.
Yes.
This was during the era of Mel Gibson being drunk and calling his daughter sugar tits with that drunk 911 call.
That's right.
Wife was sugar tits. Yeah. That's right. I think it was his wife, not his daughter. And like a lot of his anti-Semitic stuff had like surfaced and shit like that. And so they get to the guy. He's like, hi, my name is whatever, Steve, Christian Science Monitor. And he's like, oh, hey, Steve. He's like, so considering that you are basically like the Mel Gibson of comedy, dude, as he was saying it, he knew he was fucking up. It was a slow motion car wreck. He knew, he's like, I can't stop. I'm saying it. I can't go like, and
it was so uncomfortable in that room for a brief period of time.
Yeah, Jerry looks at it and goes, okay.
My
God.
What was his question?
I don't remember. He's
ridiculous.
like, what I mean is like in terms of like you're a massive star. Because you gotta remember this era of Mel Gibson, he is a big star. He's like in 3 movies a year back in the day.
Right.
Back then.
Braveheart's still a couple years away or old. Yeah.
Old, yeah. So the whole time Scott and I are like, what the fuck are we gonna ask him about? And then we're like, well, let's just ask him about Superman.
And Aaron, this is all you. You had a great question.
I don't remember what the exact question was, but they just got to us, and I said, everyone here has kind of covered like the film and stuff, and Seinfeld's like, well, then we're done then. I was like, no, wait a minute. If DC ever approached you what would be your Superman miniseries? And the shit looks we got from the members of the press of like, you fucking amateur nerds. But
he loves
Seinfeld,
Superman.
his eyes lit up. He was like, "Oh my god!" He just went. He's like, "They don't want my story." We went on and on. He's like, "Actually, those American Express commercials." He's like, "I helped write those. That's my Superman story. I like the idea of Superman. Again, the comic about nothing, about Superman like cars not stopping for him because Superman's like, I'm right here, and they're like, it's not going to hurt you, and he's like, that's not the point."
I'm with my friend here. You got to save somebody.
We talked for like 20 minutes about Superman. We got 4 times the amount of time that any other reporter had. When we're done, like he came to us and shook our hand. He says, that was a lot of fun. The best thing is on our way out, his publicist pulls Scott and I aside and he said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, Jerry said that's the best question he's gotten in the entire junket. So thanks."
So
yeah. And then on the way home, we almost died because a lightning bolt hit a transformer on the side of the freeway and blew up.
Oh my god!
And like rocked the car we were in.
We literally felt the heat from the transformer.
Wow!
It was pouring down. It was typical Seattle storm.
Rain. Yeah.
That's right. I forgot that. Oh my god, that
you would have gone out on top.
I mean, that's the way to go.
This is true.
We'd have gone out like Costanza when he tells the good joke. And he's like, "I'm out."
That's right.
Okay,
yeah, that was a really, really fun day. That was pretty cool. And again, we were just ourselves. We weren't some douchebag radio folk or people trying to put on a show or ask the same question I'm sure he got in every freaking city.
Not that all radio folk are douchebags.
Most of them.
You know what I'm talking about.
We know which ones are the douchebags. This is true. I'm just we don't want to know all of the people.
No. But back in that day, that day. Sorry, I was. Sorry. Don't look at me.
I think that part of the publicist's job is to keep the junket focused on the movie. So anytime it looks like you've pulled someone into the room where it's like, oh no, we've given credentials to people who are going to talk about
not
anything
movie.
Else. Oh no, because it doesn't matter that the actors in the movie are bored out of their mind of answering the same fucking question. Yes.
Oh, and also that no one has seen the movie, so they don't you can't even try to have a well-informed or interesting question.
The B movie that doesn't got bees in it.
It's such a weird movie because it's got like.
Well, first of all, the bee's a boy.
It's got 3 stories in one.
Yeah, and it has like
3 stories in one. It's weird.
Like a love triangle between
that one. That's the one that makes me go.
What is this?
Why is this bee trying to romance a human?
I mean, why not?
True.
There are plenty of reasons that bees should not romance humans. One of them is we keep killing them.
Yeah. Yeah, they should really be resentful and wary of us.
Yes.
Talk. I'm adding more stuff.
Bam.
You think vamping never went away?
Yeah, it looks that way. And then we did a phenomenal interview with Danny Trejo. That was a phone interview. Phone interviews were always weird because you never were sure if you got the right recording. It sounded weird. We were in my office in Montgomery Park at what time? Like you may be there like at 7 a.m. or some ungodly hour for this interview.
It was an early one, but I remember the publicist was annoyed. What was the movie called? It was an army one.
Oh,
Danny Trejo?
Yeah. He wasn't the lead, but he had a pretty prominent role in it.
Yeah. Was it Larry the Cable Guy? Yeah, Delta Farce.
That's it.
Really?
Delta Farce. Well done.
2007. So the publicist was really confused because they offered us to interview Larry the Cable Guy. But when we saw Danny Trejo was in it, we're like, could we interview Danny Trejo? And they're like, well, he's not the star. We're like, well,
but he's Danny
Trejo. And this is before Machete. We're like, but it's Danny Trejo. Like, that was the interview where I found out that he did time in the prison where I grew up in Susanville, CCC. Because remember I referenced Bumpus Burgers? And he's like,
yes.
How do you know that? He's like, you didn't do time, did you? I said, no, but my parents worked out there and they used to let you go out there and eat in the lunchroom with everybody else. He's like, yeah. You cook them on the hoagies? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what? And he asked me like, when? I told him like mid-'80s. He's like, Shit, Holmes, I might have made you one.
The best part about that interview was the entire time Aaron and I were like, when we would die to have a liner from Danny Trejo, and so it's like,
one.
What's that?
We had one.
You got him to do a bumper?
Not from Danny Trejo though.
Yeah, we did.
We got one from that interview.
Yeah,
you don't. I know that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you said.
This is
Didn't
how
let
we
him
got
finish
it.
the story.
No.
This is how we got. Yeah, we got it that day, and we're like, okay. So at the end of the interview, it went really well. He was cool. We had no reason to think otherwise that he didn't like us. And then we said, hey, can we get you to say, can we have you do a liner? And he goes, yeah, that's fine. I was like, hey, this is. I think we were still Film Fever then too, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I said we said the name of the show is Film Fever. You say your name, whatever you want to say. Knock yourself out. It was silence for probably, I don't know, maybe it was 10 or 15 seconds, but it seemed like an eternity.
We were like, oh no.
We pissed him off. We went too far. And then finally he just dropped this. This is Danny Trejo. And if you don't listen to Film Fever Radio, I'm going to come and kick your ass. And Aaron and I are like, yeah, this is the coolest thing ever. So that was pretty awesome.
And then when we're done, he got all humble again. He's like, is that okay? You want me to do another one?
So okay. What he was doing was getting into character of the character of Danny Trejo.
Yes. Exactly. And it was glorious.
As we've all come to find out, Danny Trejo is not Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
No, he absolutely is not. And he wasn't Danny Trejo during the interview. He was an actor named Danny Trejo. Yeah, and it was great.
Fun accent.
Exactly. So yeah, and that was and we, Aaron, I think that's the only time ever you and I have asked any filmmaker, actor, producer, anybody to record something for our show.
I'm trying to think if we ever. I don't think we did. We would have like. Well, I mean, it depends on how you consider big celebrities. We had Storm Large do one for us once.
We did. Yes, that's true. Yeah. Well, Storm was a friend, so
she was a friend.
Yeah.
Storm's been on TV.
I know, but she was a friend. This is before she was on TV. Yeah.
Yeah, he might have been the one that we're like, let's get him to do a bumper.
Yeah. I mean, worst he could do is say no, and the interview be over, and we move on with our lives. But now we had one, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was.
Cameo exists, and people do that for $30 pop.
Yeah, no kidding.
150.
Yeah, I don't think we ever really had bad interviews.
I had a bad interview once, but it was pre the podcast.
Right. I can't think of a celebrity we had that was not a fun interview.
By the way, my dad knows Pink Martini, so I would classify that as yes, they are. A Storm Large is a big deal.
That's true. Yeah.
Storm Large is please don't get me wrong. Storm Large is a very big deal. But I'm just saying that back in the day when she did that for us, she was still a big deal back then too. But we've always known her as a friend, and it's awesome seeing the success she's had all these years.
We had her on because she was on the Dearly Departed CD, the one that was raising money for the Lone Fir Cemetery.
That's right, for the Lone Fir Cemetery. That's right. Yeah, and she was fun. She was a great guest.
Storm Large saved my life.
Did she?
I feel like that's a whole story on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yep. You can't. Well,
I mean, it's a short one, but
yeah, you can't say that. Go.
Mm-hmm.
This was pre-gallery.
Oh man, right.
So I was at Dante's. I'd been to a friend's earlier in the day, hung out with them, hung out with their kids. Had minimal amount of food, so that's the only thing I can think of is why the events happened the way they did. I met someone at Dante's that I had been talking to online, but didn't know. So we met for beers. It was cool. And then they took off, and I still was having a drink. And I was at the bar. I didn't know it was Storm at the time. I just knew it was like, this is a hot fucking bartender.
It's an understatement.
Later on, when Storm was starting to build, Storm and the Balls were building their brand. It's like, oh yeah, that I know who that is. So I'm at the bar. I'm drinking, enjoying the show. I think it was Inferno night, so there was going to be all kinds of antics. And then suddenly I realized, I feel a little funny. Wonder what that is. And the next thing I know is someone is picking me up off the floor.
Oh, did you get drugged?
I have no idea, but it's entirely possible.
You must have got roofied, my friend. Holy crap.
Yeah, I was on the fucking floor.
Damn.
I think I had thrown up. But yeah, like the bouncer got me back to the stool, and I just sat there, glass of water, and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm gonna walk this off. And it was Storm. She's like, you're not going anywhere. You're going to sit right here. You're going to drink water. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not a discussion. Sit.
That sounds like her. I mean, she's an old school, like, Bay Area, like, punk club girl. Like, she's probably knows every warning sign of, like, oh, someone fucked with him.
Yep.
You know.
So, yeah.
That's wild, Cable.
Man,
back in the day before I knew anybody.
This
crazy. Was, I would, like, it was like 2004, early 2005, and I was living in Beaverton. So I spent, and I took transit. So I worked in downtown. So I would transit into downtown, stay in downtown until the absolute last bus or train would leave for Beaverton, because fucking hated Beaverton.
I did the exact same thing in the mid 90s. In my mid 20s. I was going through a rough period. I was back in my folks' house for a few months, and then after that I got an apartment with a buddy of mine in Beaverton. That's when I was doing the show. I was doing Film Fever on Portland Cable Access. And yeah, man, I worked at the Broadway Theater downtown. I was assistant manager down there. And so those days I worked at, I stayed as long as I possibly could, man.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
It was that's why I was just always downtown, because as I also didn't have a car. So I was just mass transit. I'm in downtown until I had to leave.
He did the Dante's, the Barracuda, all the Banana Joe's. I think it was Banana Joe's.
I don't know Banana Joe's. I remember Barracuda.
It's where Barracuda used to be.
Okay.
Same spot.
That's going to stay an inside joke for the four of us. Because it's a little vulgar.
It's very vulgar. I'm looking back. I'm embarrassed that I even brought it up.
That's why I'm not going to say
it's a little insulting. So
when we're all in our early 20s, we do say foolish.
It's something a stupid douchebag in his 20s would say. And looking back on it now, I'm embarrassed.
I believe everyone here can claim any period in their 20s as their douchebag era.
It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, I had
anywho.
Right after I hooked up with Carrie, I listened to a lot of Tom Likas for about a year, and I was like, "Oh, I can't be this way. This guy's a piece of shit."
Yeah, I had to. Yeah,
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Who would quote Tom Likas? Shit.
Well, anyway, really quick, and we'll bounce around.
This isn't bouncing around.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
The other interview or almost fucking whole day that I will never forget, was when we were invited to watch a screener of Beer Fest.
That's right.
During the Portland Beer Festival, the Broken Lizard guys were there promoting Beer Fest at the Waterfront Beer Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we'll get you tickets to it. We'll get you a DVD screener to watch it. But you have to come down to the Benson Hotel, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Because they all had suites at the Benson, and they had a separate room. We thought we were going to go to like a conference room to watch it, and that wasn't a big deal. Like, that's just how these type of screeners were done back in the day. And the publicist like takes us to a room, and she's like, "Well, there you go." We walk in, it's like just a queen bed.
A laptop sitting on the desk. Here's the screener.
Huh?
That's right. Yeah. Here's the screener. Here you go. Enjoy. We're like,
what percentage of you expected it to just be porn?
That's how it felt like. I was like, they're just setting us
72%.
This is Broken Lizard. They're fucking with us. Is what's happening here.
Yeah. And the movie was fine. And then they took us down to the Broken Lizard guys to interview them.
Yeah.
And they were so funny. And like Scott's like, So, here we're interviewing the Broken Lizards guys at the creators of the hit comedy like Super Troopers and Club Dread, and they cut us off. They're like, dude, don't fucking lie. Club Dread's trash. And Scott's like, well, I'm trying to be like, no, we appreciate it, but that movie's a fucking garbage.
They were a lot of fun.
They were a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I remember them. The publicist saying, yes, you guys can interview them, but it has to be down at Beer Fest when they're down there. It's like, really? Wow, that sounds like a lousy time. But that 90 minutes sitting in that hotel room there and watching that DVD was awkward.
It would have been lousy if we weren't allowed to just hang out in their private booth and drink beers. Because after we interviewed them, they're like, you guys want to hang out? So that's why Scott and I saw so many butts, like naked butts, get signed.
The number of people that asked, a general public that asked them to sign their butts was appalling.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was fucking weird.
Why their butts?
Because,
was it all guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It was almost you have to.
There were a couple.
I know.
Yeah. There were a couple breasts that were signed, I think, but nothing that was exposed, but like cleavage.
I remember the one thing we asked them, and even they were like, we don't know how we pulled this off, and it was actually kind of awkward because she went so hardcore. When we're like, you got Cloris Leachman to deep throat a bratwurst. And they're like, we had to tell her to tone it the fuck down.
She actually carried that movie. She was comedy gold in that film.
We're like, you guys are great, but Cloris Leachman, they're like, oh yeah, no.
Yeah, they were very lucky to get her for that one. That was really funny.
Yeah, that was bonkers.
Because she's a fucking professional.
That's right. Goddamn right she is.
Yeah.
Luca.
So yeah, we had some. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. I can't leave you hanging like that cable. And let's talk about stuff the show did. Let's talk about the Booyah Awards.
Oh my god!
Very first Booyah Awards at Sam's Billiards.
No.
Yeah, the first one was upstairs.
I think it was Cosmic Monkey.
That was the second one.
Oh, no. Was it?
Yeah, the first one was the Sam's.
Yeah. Okay.
That would track. Like
yeah.
Sam's Billiards seems like that's where it would have started. Cosmic Monkey was now you have legitimacy.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
they
again,
were like,
it was
okay,
one of
you
those
guys.
Things that, like, this used to happen with the Emerson show. Bars never believed that when we said stock up on staff and booze for these things.
You guys will sell out.
And back in the day with Emerson, this usually the bars were like, man, you're like an AM station. You're not fucking You're not like KUFO.
You're not KUFO. Yeah, exactly.
So here comes Scott and I, just fucking like, what? Film Fever Radio Awards? It's a podcast. You're not even on the regular radio. And we're like, yeah, but trust us, man. It's the same crowd. And Scott and I were very proud. It was like 9:30 on Saturday night. The bartender comes up to us and says, just so you guys know, you motherfuckers blew through our kegs of Rainier and we don't get a restock till Tuesday. It's a drinking crowd.
Yep. Yeah. And then I think our third one was at Guardian Games, wasn't it?
Yeah, we only did 3.
Yeah.
Guardian
all
Games.
you get, just 3.
That's just it, man. 3 is where Lord of the Races debuted.
That's right. And Cable, you were part of that too.
Oh yeah, I was. I'm like, wait, this sounds familiar. I was there for this.
You were
like
indeed.
A year before you got in town, I think.
I remember hearing about it.
Our friend Anno flew in just to attend the Booyahs. Let's say that. Anno
from Sweden.
Yeah.
That's right. Hello, Anno, if you still listen. I'm not sure I'm sure she does.
Oh no, she still listens.
She still listens.
Not live.
We talk via Instagram all the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're listening, hello.
Hello. Or Bork.
Or Bork.
So Anno isn't
Joke.
here,
so old now.
but Dimitri is in the live chat right now.
Oh, listen, we would be remiss if we did not give our boy Dimitri some special attention, special love.
Our boy, motherfucker's pushing 40.
Wait,
I think. I don't know.
Dude, it's possible. Dimitri has been with us from the beginning.
The thing that's upsetting to you about Dimitri is not his age.
It's mine.
It's his kid's age.
Yeah.
How old is your kid now, Dimitri?
Because he likes to say, like, so I was a sophomore when I started listening to you.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Dimitri would show up to remember when that very small stint we did at Tony Starlight's, like on a Wednesday night. Dimitri was like one of
all three shows.
All three shows. Dimitri is like the one listener that would show up and just kind of sit quietly in the corner while we did our thing. Dimitri would be at every event.
Even our own partners wouldn't come eventually. By the second appearance, we're like, this is not going to work. We don't know what Tony Starlight wanted from us, but this is not it.
All the love to Tony. We love Tony, but yeah, that was a failed experiment.
I'm sure Tony was into it, just maybe not. His patron.
Well, my history with Tony is back when I did the TV show Film Fever. We would have Tony as a guest occasionally because as part of cable access, you volunteered on other people's shows to be crew, so they can volunteer in your show to be crew. Yeah. And so we would volunteer on our friend Alex and Jamie's show called All Right. And All Right was a show about Britpop. And that's how I got exposed to Pulp and Blur and Oasis, and not just the stuff on the radio, but really deep into their stuff because they love Britpop. And so Alex was really into Tony Starlight. So David, myself, Alex, and a bunch of their friends went out to see Tony Starlight one night. We're like at Jimmy Mac's, and we're like, this guy is incredible. Tony Starlight and the band name was Tony Starlight and the something trio, like the Dave Brubeck trio or something like that. I remember exactly. Artie Davis, Tony Starlight and the Artie Davis trio. And they were phenomenal. They were great. And after seeing him a couple times, I said, "Hey, Tony, I've got this cable access show. Would love to have you come on." And he came on and he killed it. We were having so much fun. And so I had Tony on occasionally, and I go see his shows and stuff. And so Tony had developed a friendship. So he moved to LA for many, many years. And when he came back, he opened up that spot on Sandy where we did the spot for a little bit. So he and I reconnected when he came back into LA, and he'd been paying attention to us and still been listening to. Why don't you guys come in and try something? And it was a supper club he opened up, and he thought maybe we could do a little film night or something, and it just didn't work.
It just didn't work.
Yeah.
I do remember the first night. It was now my ex at the time, and then Dimitri was there, and Prima and Diana came in like formal dinner wear. He wore a suit. She wore like a nice dinner dress.
It was a supper club, man. It was fancy. Yeah.
I had to put on a fucking jacket and shit.
Put on pants.
I had to wear pants.
Yeah. I think like the Booyahs were always fun. And we had like ridiculous categories that were kind of great.
And we had great sponsors who donated toys and books and comics and all kinds of stuff to give away as prizes, and who would donate beer for the event and stuff. And that was awesome. Beer. Awesome. It's incredible what we created, Aaron. That's all freaking cool.
It was pretty cool. Like I still like everything's coming to an end or whatever, but I remember looking back, like I still think, and this was now Geek in the City, but our poker invitational was a blast. Like that was a lot of fun that we pulled that actually off.
The one that I won first place in our own invitational.
So first off, that's bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
I should not have been able to win,
but I did.
Also, you know why? Because rebuys are bullshit. If you're knocked out, you're knocked out.
We agreed to the rules. We agreed to the rules before the tournament
even started. I got outvoted.
We agreed to the rules. We agreed.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. You know what? Fuck that poker invitation. But honestly, I think when I look back, the one event that we somehow tricked a major studio into letting us do that I'm the most proud of is that I don't know if we were still Film Fever or if we had just become Geek in the City Radio, but we convinced like Paramount to let us do like the Northwest premiere of Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. At the was it at Lloyd?
No, this was out on Century on the east on 82nd. Like a real
field. Yeah, just 6 blocks away from my house currently. Yeah,
everyone who showed up got liquored up. Not just like us. Like but like
we literally heard a bottle halfway through the film. A bottle rolled down the aisle of the concrete floor in the theater.
Yeah, I know that my ex did, but other people also brought like rubber snakes and they just started throwing them. I showed the movie and the studio reps looking around of like, what the fuck have we agreed to? This room is just filled with drunken idiots. And I'm thinking like, yeah, who else is gonna watch this fucking movie?
Because it was awful.
But
But yeah, that was fun.
I'll never forget. We say hi and we thank the sponsors and we would acknowledge we're gonna quit talking. You didn't fucking come here for us. And we leave the little front area. We take our seats. Pop like the theater gave up because at first they're like, you're not supposed to bring outside drinks. And this is before that theater served alcohol. They just stopped. They were like, we're not gonna please don't trash it. Like, please don't make a huge mess.
Be nice.
All these poor folks, like minimum wage looking people, they're like, we ain't fucking enforcing rules in this bullshit. Everyone takes a seat. You hear just cans and bottles of beer being opened, like all over the theater. The lights go dark because there was no trailers. They went right to the fucking movie. The lights go dark and the studio logo, I don't remember if it was Paramount or not, the studio logo comes up and there's a voice from the back of the theater that just yells out, my entire fucking life has led to this moment! I don't know who that person was, but I will refer you to the end of my days.
That's fantastic.
Here's where Dimitri.
Yeah, that was pretty great. It was Dimitri. Let's say it's Dimitri. Dimitri did that.
Yeah.
We appreciate that, Dimitri. Also, I would be remiss also to not mention Keelan and Captain Dan Clark for their contributions and how long they were part of the show and what they brought to it. I mean, Fun with Race was one of the funniest damn things. Killed me every time. Every freaking time.
Every time I watch when Michael Che and what's his name do the jokes.
Oh, Colin Jost.
Yeah. I will like send a message on like whatever Instagram to Keelan and I'm like, look, and I'm not suggesting they took it because clearly fucking not. But every time I watch it, I'm like, man, this was us. This was with race. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was great. And, Dan, of course, brought so much color to the show. And it was fun. We just had
the whale stapler.
The fucking whale
stapler.
Right over there.
Wait,
is
it
really?
The
you
OG
have it?
Yes.
Wait, where?
Hold on, let me find it.
Because remember, we got Anton and Deb to let us borrow a bunch of high-end furniture because we had a lounge at the second.
Yes, at the Rose City Comic Con. The first or second one they did.
At first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, she does have it.
Oh yeah, no, that furniture was amazing. That donation.
Oh no, who's gonna do the voice though?
I don't remember I don't know the voice of Whale Stapler.
I can remember it like in my
like this, right?
Little lower.
Hey, buddy, I'm a whale stapler.
Oh my God, there it is.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say it's been a pretty good show. I'm the longest lived whale ever. Most of us died. Not me. I'm still making paper stick together. And causing people to bleed because I'm the worst built stapler fucking ever. Oh,
he's out of staples.
Oh no.
Oh, fail.
God, it took.
That's his name.
Failey. It was
Failey.
That's right,
Failey the Whale Stapler.
When Dan first brought that up, what was the name of that segment? Oh boy.
Kicking it with
Captain.
Yeah, because it was things to fund on Kickstarter.
That's right. And so when he brought the Whale Stapler Kickstarter campaign to our attention, we're like, what the hell?
So he paid money for this.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
You think he
money into it, so many of them would be produced and sold.
They had to make more. Like that's what the dude made, and it made people so angry. But remember, one of the stretch goals, if they hit it and you backed it, you would get Sounds of the Whale Stapler. And Keelan's like, this motherfucker just took Humpback recordings and put it onto a fucking CD. And this is when he's starting to do the first Star Pilot. And he's like, why the fuck am I working so much? This was also the era. The other one
we're all still asking that.
This was also the same era where one of the ones that he brought to Kicking It with the Captain was the dude that was kickstarting his potato salad recipe.
Oh, that's right.
See, folks don't remember how much bullshit Kickstarter.
There was a lot of bullshit.
There was a lot of bullshit.
Keelan was so angry. He's like, "Why am I working?
But
Why?"
when the tail of the whale stapler really is the best part. It wasn't just the fact that it was this weird ass Kickstarter. It took what, Dan, like 3 months to get this damn thing, and he'd get updates. It was probably longer, yeah. And all the updated emails he would get and read on the air, with the whale stapler.
And he would build it up. He's like, "Oh, wait a minute, whale stapler update."
and then that thing showed up. It was like just paper mache.
There's a picture of Manuel holding it.
Of course there is.
There's a picture of the bear, and I think he's going like.
The picture of Manuel holding it is one of the pictures that when it pops up on my iPhone in memories, it kills me. I literally am laughing so hard. Your face, Cable, just like. It's just this look, and it's so hilarious.
I'm gonna see how much I can get this up to the camera here. So the metal, so not this part, but this part, the actual stapler where he put clay around it. This isn't paint, y'all.
It's whiteout.
This is whiteout.
Yeah, those were his what
that's right.
It was called. Not the teeth, but
the baleen.
Baleen, yeah.
Never mind that it's a sperm whale who don't have baleen.
It can't be a sperm whale. It's black and white.
Look, are we really trying to apply scientific accuracy to the fucker who made the whale stapler?
Clearly, it's an orca, Aaron. Come on.
It's the wrong shape for an orca. Anyway, I'm glad that those photos exist to bring you delight.
It killed me.
I have forgotten more than I remember of shit I have done. So I'm glad that there's records of it somewhere. I don't know it.
Well, if I remember, I'll post some of these photos we discussed tonight on my little.
That'd be great. Yeah, that would be lovely.
Oh man, there was at one point a whale stapler 2.0.
There was a what?
Was it an update? Was it an updated, a new and improved?
People were so angry. He had to. I think eventually he actually commissioned a company to make whale staplers, and they looked better than whatever the fuck.
I guess arguably this looks better than that, but not by much. It just seems like your own round 2 of hand doing them yourself.
Look out, Pinocchio. I'm gonna eat Geppetto. Wow. Oh my god. That's fucking ridiculous.
Speaking of ridiculous, let us not forget about ketchup. Ketchup challenge.
The ketchup king.
Oh, the ketchup. Yes. That was, listen, I was just as amazed as you guys were when it was all said and done. I was like, how the hell did I do that? There were a couple that were pretty easy. You know, one of them I think was a smoked ketchup.
Yeah.
Another one was like a Tabasco or something.
It was like Chipotle and like that.
Yeah. But there were 3 of them that were just your standard run-of-the-mill ketchups.
Well, one was the Portland Ketchup Company.
Which I believe you described as a little bit spicy.
Well, no, I don't think I described that one spicy. I think there was a spicy one, though.
Yeah.
Portland ketchup is actually... Listen, Portland ketchup is my favorite ketchup of them all.
It is a good ketchup.
There's a nice little official endorsement.
Yeah.
It does have the official endorsement.
I feel like
it's a little sweet.
The 2 that blew me away, I was like, he's going to get the ones that are... Oh, one was a sun-dried tomato.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
The one that did blow me away was the fact that you could tell the difference between Fred Meyer store brand and Safeway store brand. Like Heinz, Portland Ketchup Company, the spicy one, the sun-dried tomato ones, those were all like givens. But Keelan and I are like, there's no fucking way he's going to get these 2 right. And it wasn't random. Scott spent like 10 minutes back and forth on those 2, and he went, Fred Meyer.
So many mouth noises.
I'm all right, man. 100%. Scott Dowling.
It is
Oh,
a shame we never came back for a mayonnaise challenge. We've been talking about it ever since.
Yeah.
I mean, I like mayonnaise, but I'm not a. I mean, are one of you like?
It wasn't just a straight mayonnaise challenge.
If I put in front of you a bowl of Miracle Whip and a bowl of Kewpie, could you tell the difference?
Well, yeah, Miracle Whip's
Yes.
sweet.
Yeah,
Yes.
Miracle Whip is disgusting.
Right.
But here's
okay.
what
And Miracle Whip is
here's what we
mayonnaise.
wanted to do, and we never got around to
Also,
it.
Miracle Whip is salad dressing.
Yes, it is.
Exactly. So okay, well,
We
good.
were
I just
gonna
want to make
make-
sure what what we're dealing with here.
So we were gonna get best foods, Miracle Whip, Kewpie, Dukes, and like I think one other, and then make identical egg salad sandwiches and have Bill Oakley on and determine which made the best egg salad. It wasn't a challenge;
That-
it was who made the best one.
Mhm.
Right.
That would be a fantastic idea.
Yeah,
There's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of logistics involved though to get 4 different but identically made
yeah,
potato salads.
egg salad.
Egg
salad.
salads. Egg
Yeah.
salads.
I
Same thing.
feel like that would. Me personally,
make-
I think it would be
You can make that work.
Kewpie would come out on top, followed very closely by Dukes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now with the recipe just the hard-boiled egg and the mayo, no salt, no
Yeah.
pepper, just the egg and the mayo. That's
I
it.
think we
You
allowed
gotta
for.
have salt.
I think we allowed a little bit of pepper, like equal amounts of pepper in each one.
Okay.
I think that was the rule.
Like
interesting,
everything else would have to be measured out and the
Equal.
exact same. The
Mhm,
only
yeah,
thing that would
same
be
amount of
different-
eggs, same
Yep.
amount of seasoning,
Yep.
same amount of mayonnaise, just different
Yeah.
brand.
One
for
egg,
each.
one egg per sandwich.
Yep.
A man egg.
One egg per brand. A mayo egg. So cute.
Mayonnaise.
Her.
I just got this.
Um,
We're nearing Easter, so I got this image of a Cadbury cream egg only filled with mayonnaise.
Oh, oh God.
That sounds gnarly, but I do love me cranberry cream eggs. They're my favorite. Oh, my favorite Easter treat.
Yeah,
They're so
you
good.
do love your Cadbury cream eggs, that's for sure.
Like most
It's
Easter
true.
treats, you really can only have like 1 or 2 though.
Exactly. After my second one, my teeth started hurting. I was like, no. I'm
Right,
good.
Yeah.
right. Like your throat starts to like feel raspy from all the sugar.
I've yet to have one this season, so I think I've got. I don't know when's Easter this year.
I love that you all say this, and I'll go through like 6 packages of Peeps.
Oh, that's right. I
Oh.
brought some Peeps home for you
Oh.
from last weekend, but
Table.
then I ate half.
Oh.
Good for
But
you.
only half because I couldn't eat any more than
Good
that.
for you.
Who were other like
Gross.
random characters? Well, there was Alan Moore's beard. He was a character.
Alan Moore's beard.
Moore's beard. I am the reason why he's a wizard.
There was.
Arnold, the governor.
Oh,
AKA,
yes, Arnold.
I am the god of the Mexicans.
There was
right.
Don't forget about
Nestle's
Nestle
Nestle's-
Snipes
Nestle
That's right.
Snipes.
and Dos Sexys.
Dos Sexy.
the Sexies.
Sexies and Nestle Snipes. That's
We were
right.
fucking ridiculous.
I still believe to this date that Geek in the City is responsible for me being in Trek in the Park.
Really?
Please
Because
connect those dots for us, Cable.
Yeah, yeah.
Where else did I do a lot of George Takei impersonations?
Oh, that's
I-
right.
Like I was already friends with Adam, but I'm pretty sure he heard those and went, "Oh shit, we cast the wrong person as Sulu."
Yeah, that's right.
That's
We can't
right.
Cable now. Cable later.
All right. We'll take credit for that. That
I've
works.
never asked him. I don't need to know. I like it being part of the lore,
The lore.
the
yeah.
myth. That's what it is. That's why I keep balking at everyone using the term lore now for their backstory. It's like I don't want lore. What's the myth? I'm
Right.
interested in the myth. I think that's because in high school I made a side comment to a friend of mine. It's like I don't want to be a living legend. I want to be a myth. And then that started happening because he listened to me far too often and did stupid shit.
Who did?
I like the
That
idea
was
of
a
being
friend of mine
myth.
from high school.
Okay.
I like the idea of being a myth, though. You're right.
I
myth-
I
a
have kind
myth
of
is more
lived by that
mysterious.
sense. I'm just a myth. I'm not a real
Yeah.
person.
And then I feel safe because we're kind of getting close here. I feel safe now bringing up the real reason why, because everyone has different jobs now, and almost 15 years has gone by. The real reason why there was no original Tombstone commentary.
Is it time to reveal?
We can reveal it now.
Yeah, okay. We can. I agree.
So we've told the story in private to friends who have never repeated it. So there was no technical glitch. There was no audio error. What it really was is this was during the era of the Film Fever Radio drunken commentaries, which we were much younger and our bodies could take it back then. Which really quick, which is why if you can find the old Wrath of Khan one, by the end it's 10 nerds just crying their eyes out because we're all hammered by the end of Wrath of Khan. Because
we drank Aaron's homemade Romulan ale all night.
Yeah.
Had that. That's a mistake.
So
yes, it was.
The commentary was the perfect storm of a lot of stupid choices. One being we set a rule that since it's Tombstone, the only liquor allowed was whiskey or tequila, no beer.
No clear liquor and no beer.
Yeah, that was the rule.
I can see Cable's voice or face is already very disappointed in this.
We had invited one of the listeners because we had a contest basically of a listener could join us, and I don't think he cares. He's brought about it. Different now, but AKA Mailman Chris Todd was the one who won.
Yep.
And Chris Todd brought a fuck ton of weed.
Bag of weed.
Now he didn't smoke it in the apartment. He was very he'd go outside. But it was him, Scott and I, Diana and Prime, and Rick Emerson. So Rick doesn't.
By the way, we should say that I would often join Chris out there for his weed smoking because it was delicious weed, and he brought it. So it'd be rude not
to. And I want to add, never did and still didn't. Rick didn't drink and he didn't partake in smoke or whatever. But this was about 12 hours after he had been fired from Max 910 when Max 910 flipped to an oldie station. And I don't know, we're all hammered. We're being incredibly inappropriate as we're watching this movie.
It's probably the bestest thing ever went on the air anyway.
Yeah, and I think maybe Rick just was getting drunk by association, just breathing in the fumes of our idiocy. And I'm not going to mention names. That dude on mic went off on almost every single media person in the city. He spilled all the tea and all the dirty laundry of shit that was never public.
He just let it rip.
He was like he didn't get angry. He let it the fuck out. And we didn't finish the movie, by the way. Eventually, Diana has mentioned this publicly. It's fine. Diana wound up in the bathtub throwing up. Prime had to get her out. This is when I lived in Hollywood. It was the community apartment. Chris Todd made it to a bush outside while he threw up.
Yep.
And the next day,
I passed out on your living room floor, I think.
Yeah.
I made it upstairs, but that's all as far as I made it.
So the next day around 4:00, I get a phone call from Rick, and he's like, "Hey, man, look, it's yours and Scott's show, and I'm never going to tell you what to do with your show. It's your show." And I said what I said, and if I got to stand by it, that's fine. But you guys said some stuff. I said some stuff. You might want to think about not publishing that show. Ever. And I was like, yeah, because I remembered some shenanigans being said. And I was like, yeah, I'll listen to it, but I'm going to run it past Scott. And I think I just played you 10 minutes of it. And you're like, sweet Jesus. So that became the lost film commentary with technical difficulties. There was no technical difficulties. It was all us.
We were the technical difficulties.
We were in the middle. Everyone was being laid off. It was a perfect storm. And then a lot of booze and weed.
Adon Durant's been lying to you for 15 years, listeners.
Yeah, no,
it was time.
And if I'm gonna ask, release it now. No, I deleted it. It doesn't.
Oh, it's gone. I think we deleted it that day. Actually,
we did to prevent any temptation of fuck it, I'll throw it up. Who cares? No, it's gone. It does not exist. But things were said about local media people, some of whom are still on the air in a various formats. That,
of course, they are.
Yeah. So that's why the Tombstone commentary never aired.
Not only was that just shocking to hear from anybody, but to hear it from Rick. To hear Rick just kind of unload.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But
hey, he has always been a very buttoned down professional about things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's one of those professional people I know. And and he respects privacy. He respects the profession. He respects his coworkers, and that was shocking. Like,
yeah. Well, he'd just been fired. Everyone had just been fired.
Yeah, that was a bad day.
Yeah.
Anyway, not to bring them down, but yes, that's
Emerson show today, and fucking Creedence Clearwater's on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I had come back from a trip.
I used to come back from Ground-Zero. That's also when I lost my job.
I had come back from a trip. I was working for a bank, and it was in Medford, and I flew home from Medford, got in the car from the airport, turned on Max 910 because I think they were either airing reruns of Rick Show that I might have missed, or maybe Art Bell. Man, I think maybe they put Art Bell at night. I got in like at 10 o'clock.
Art Bell used to follow Ground-Zero Radio.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe it was because I got in like at 10 or 11. So, and I'd drive home to St. Helens, and I got on, and Huey Lewis was playing. I'm thinking, Huey Lewis, what's going on? And I said, it's Max 910, the oldies station. I'm like, well, first of all, what happened to my favorite radio station? And B, when did Huey Lewis become oldies? Damn it! What's going on?
Right? Yeah.
What's happening here? Yeah, and that's why I called Rick, and Rick told me what happened. Like, holy crap! So
yeah. So
anyway, so that's the tale of the lost commentary.
That's right.
We can finally say it.
We gotta kind of wrap it up here.
Good note to finish on though. Like that's been like in your back pocket all these years, and now.
Yeah.
So and now the listeners get to know the.
It's fun to reminisce when you combine Film Fever with Geek in the City. The show outlasted
a lot of degeneracy.
Yeah, I was gonna say the show outlasted 2 marriages.
It did.
Yours
Absolutely.
And mine. I mean,
for sure.
You've been happily married. We don't mean that.
Oh yes, my second marriage is much better, and I'm perfectly happily married. It's been wonderful. Right. So it's a nice little do-over for me. So
that's right. The show outlasted many a things.
It lasted many a things.
No one ever gets it right the first time.
When we started, my kids were little, and now my kids are gonna be 24 and 20. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I need a drink now.
Yeah. I know.
On and off.
And a cane.
Random bullshit. So.
Exactly. But hey, you guys, kudos for you guys for carrying on the show all this time. It's sad to see it go, but I appreciate, it's better to burn out than to fade away.
That's right.
Yeah.
I totally get it. So thank you for carrying on, and it was great seeing you guys, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for taking this trip down memory lane with us.
Yeah, we'll be back in I think 3 weeks actually, because someone during our final episode is going to be in Italy.
I know. Well, here's the thing: I bought the tickets so long ago, I didn't really connect this and that. But yeah, we will no longer be doing our final episode on April 1st because I won't be here.
Instead, we're doing it on tax day.
Hey, that'll be fun.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So
it'll be taxing.
Get out.
Oh,
wow.
All right. On that note,
Scott, I think you'll be the last person to say it, but there's really only like one way you can end this, so we'll lead up to it. So I'm Aron Duran.
I'm Pinarita.
I'm Cable Hashitani.
And I'm Scott Daly. Booyah!
Yes!
Hey.